You know what the most dangerous thing in the world is? A person who stops learning. A person who thinks they already know enough. Because the moment you stop learning, you stop growing. And the moment you stop growing, you become replaceable, irrelevant, forgotten. So listen up, because today we're going to talk about your greatest power, your mind. And why you must educate yourself every single day. Imagine this, two people start at the same point in life. One decides they know enough and stays the same. The other reads, learns, listens, grows every single day. 5 years later, one is stuck and the other is unstoppable. Who do you want to be? Education isn't about degrees, it's about curiosity. It's about waking up every morning and saying, what can I learn today that will make me better than I was yesterday? The world you live in today is not the same world you were born into. It's not even the same world it was 5 years ago. Every second something is changing. Technology is advancing, industries are evolving, and new ideas are replacing old ones. The question is, are you changing with it? Or are you stuck in the past, holding on to outdated knowledge while the world moves ahead without you? Think about the phone in your pocket. 10 years ago, you wouldn't believe the things it can do today. Imagine if someone still carried a flip phone and refused to upgrade, saying, this is enough for me. What would happen? They'd miss out. They'd be disconnected. They'd struggle to keep up with a world that has already moved on. That's exactly what happens when you stop educating yourself. You become outdated. You become irrelevant. You become stuck in a version of yourself that no longer fits in this world. Look at the most successful people in any field. Elon Musk, Oprah Winfrey, Warren Buffett. What do they all have in common? They never stop learning. Warren Buffett still reads 500 pages a day. Elon Musk taught himself rocket science. Oprah constantly seeks new knowledge to improve herself and the world around her. These people understand something most don't. The moment you stop growing is the moment you start dying. And it's not just about reading books. Education is everywhere. It's in the conversations you have, the experiences you go through, and the lessons hidden in your failures. The most powerful minds in the world don't just learn from success. They learn from every single thing that happens to them. Imagine two people start working at the same job on the same day. One of them comes in, does what they're told and goes home. The other, they ask questions. They study. They watch how the top performers work. They improve themselves every day. 5 years later, one is still stuck in the same position, complaining about why life isn't fair. The other, a leader, a decision maker, someone who is irreplaceable. This is why you must evolve. You must outgrow who you were yesterday. People who refuse to grow will always struggle. They will always wonder why they aren't getting ahead, while the world rewards those who are willing to adapt. Take a moment and think about the people around you. Some of them are still talking about the same things they talked about 5 years ago. They haven't changed. Their conversations are the same. Their mindset is the same. And where are they now? Exactly where they were before. Because they refuse to learn. They refuse to upgrade themselves. Now think about yourself. Do you want to be the person who stays the same, who watches opportunities pass by because they weren't prepared? Or do you want to be the one who grows so much that people don't even recognize you anymore? The one who leaves behind the old version of themselves and steps into something greater? There is no excuse in today's world to stay the same. The internet has given you access to unlimited knowledge. You can learn anything, anytime, anywhere. You can listen to podcasts on the way to work. You can take courses from the world's greatest minds without leaving your house. You can find answers to any question with a simple search. But most people won't do it. Most people will waste hours scrolling, watching nonsense, filling their minds with distractions instead of power. And then they'll wonder why they feel lost, why they feel stuck, why they feel like life isn't going anywhere. You have a choice every single day. To be better or to be the same. To grow or to stay stuck. To evolve or to fall behind. The world isn't waiting for you to catch up. It's moving forward with or without you. The only question is, are you moving with it? Or are you watching from the sidelines, wondering why everyone else is passing you by? Every master you admire today was once a complete beginner. Every genius, every leader, every innovator, at some point they knew nothing about the thing they are now known for. But the difference between them and everyone else? They didn't let that stop them. They didn't let their lack of knowledge define their potential. They chose to start. They chose to be uncomfortable. They chose to grow. Think about the greatest athletes in the world. Do you think Michael Jordan was born with a basketball in his hand? No. He was cut from his high school team. Imagine if he had let that failure define him. Imagine if he had told himself, maybe I'm just not good enough. The world would have never witnessed his greatness. Instead, he practiced harder than anyone. He studied the game. He made sure that when the next opportunity came, he wasn't just good, he was unstoppable. That's how every expert is made. They start from zero, they fail, they struggle, but they don't quit. Because they know that every mistake, every setback, every challenge is just another step toward mastery. You might look at someone successful today and think, wow, they make it look so easy. But what you don't see is the years of failure behind that success. The nights they stayed up learning, the times they doubted themselves but kept going anyway. Steve Jobs didn't start as the genius behind Apple. He was just a guy in a garage with an idea. Oprah Winfrey didn't start as a media mogul. She was a young girl from a poor background, facing rejection after rejection. J.K. Rowling wasn't always the author of a billion-dollar book series. She was a struggling single mother, rejected by 12 publishers before someone finally took a chance on her. And the same applies to you. Whatever you want to achieve, whatever skill you dream of mastering, it all starts with a decision to begin, no matter how bad you are at first. Think about a baby learning to walk. They fall over and over again. But do they ever stop trying? No. Because they don't understand failure. They don't know what it means to quit. They just know one thing. Keep going. Now, imagine if adults had that same mindset. Imagine if people stopped saying, I'm not good at this, and instead said, I'm not good at this yet. That one word changes everything. Because when you say yet, you acknowledge that growth is possible. You acknowledge that today's failure doesn't define tomorrow's success. Take driving, for example. The first time you sat behind the wheel, it felt impossible. Too many things to control at once. Your hands were sweating, your mind was racing, but over time, with practice, something changed. You got better. You stopped overthinking. And now you drive without even realizing how much skill it takes. That's how learning works. That's how expertise is built. Through repetition, through patience, through pushing past the discomfort of being a beginner. Most people never achieve their dreams, not because they lack talent, but because they lack patience. They expect to be great overnight. They try something once, struggle, and then say, I guess I'm just not meant for this. But the truth is, every great thing takes time. The guitarist who plays effortlessly once struggled to switch chords. The speaker who captivates an audience once stumbled over their words. The doctor who saves lives once had no idea what they were doing in their first year of medical school. The only difference between them and the ones who never make it, they didn't stop at being bad. They kept going until they became good. Then they kept going until they became great. And now it's your turn. Whatever you want to do, whatever skill you want to master, start today. Be willing to be bad at it. Be willing to struggle. Because that struggle, that's the beginning of something powerful. That's the beginning of the expert you are meant to become. Education is not just about books, exams, and degrees. It's not limited to a classroom or confined to the four walls of a school. Education is life itself. It is in every experience, every failure, every success, every conversation, and every challenge you face. The real lessons are not written in textbooks. They are lived. They are felt. They shape you in ways no diploma ever can. Look around. The most powerful, successful, and influential people in the world didn't just learn from books, they learned from life. They learned from the streets, from rejection, from heartbreak, from losing everything and starting again. They learned from people who doubted them, from moments of struggle when they had no choice but to rise. Think about a child who learns to walk. No book teaches them how to balance, how to take that first step, how to get up after every fall. They learn by doing. They fall, they try again, and they keep moving forward because that is the only way. Now think about your own life. How much have you learned outside of school? Think about the first time you had to manage your own money. No class could fully prepare you for the realization of how fast money disappears when you're not careful. Think about the first time you failed at something you really wanted, maybe a job, a relationship, an opportunity. No professor could have taught you the depth of that pain or the strength it took to get back up. Some of the smartest people in the world never finished school, but they never stopped learning. Steve Jobs dropped out of college, yet he built Apple. Richard Branson struggled with dyslexia, yet he created Virgin Group. These people understood that true education isn't about memorizing facts. It's about understanding how the world works, how people think, how opportunities are created. Education is in the small, everyday lessons that most people ignore. It's in the way you handle an argument with a friend. Do you react with anger, or do you listen and learn how to communicate better? It's in the way you deal with failure. Do you break down and give up, or do you analyze what went wrong and come back stronger? It's in the way you treat people who can do nothing for you. Do you show kindness, or do you only respect those in power? Life is a classroom with no walls, no fixed syllabus, no final exam, except the one you give yourself. Every day you are either growing or staying the same. Every experience is either teaching you something or breaking you down, and the choice of how you take it is yours. Think about someone who never takes risks, never steps out of their comfort zone. They might have all the degrees in the world, but if they never challenge themselves, their knowledge is useless. Then think about the person who embraces challenges, who learns from real-world experiences, who adapts, grows, and evolves. That person will always be ahead. Some people wait for a teacher, a mentor, a perfect course to guide them, but the truth is, life is always teaching. The question is, are you paying attention? The most valuable lessons will never be found in a textbook. No book will teach you how to deal with betrayal, how to heal from loss, how to push forward when the odds are stacked against you. No classroom will prepare you for the moment you realize your dream is much harder than you imagined. But life will. Life will test you over and over again until you understand. A person who only studies books but never studies life will struggle when reality hits. They might have straight A's, but can they handle failure? Can they adapt when things don't go as planned? Can they navigate the unpredictable nature of the real world? The ones who succeed are the ones who never stop learning, not just from books, but from every single experience. They see knowledge in everything. They observe. They listen, they grow, because they know that education is not something you finish, it is something you live. People spend thousands on designer clothes, luxury handbags, the latest sneakers, and high-end watches because they want to look good, feel confident, and show the world their worth. But what about the mind? What about investing in the one thing that never goes out of style? Knowledge. A luxury bag might turn heads, but intelligence opens doors. Expensive shoes might make a statement, but wisdom makes an impact. Fashion trends change, but the power of knowledge stays with you forever. Imagine someone walking into a high-end big boutique, excited to spend thousands on a single item just to fit in. Now imagine that same person hesitating to spend money on a book, a course, or a skill that could elevate their future. Why? Why do we see material things as an investment but hesitate when it comes to investing in our own growth? Think about the time and effort people put into their appearance. Hours spent in front of the mirror, picking the perfect outfit, matching accessories, making sure every detail is flawless. Now imagine if the same level of attention was given to the mind. Imagine if people spend just as much time feeding their brains as they do curating their Instagram aesthetic. Your wardrobe might impress people for a moment, but your intelligence will impress them for a lifetime. Your shoes might get compliments, but your knowledge will get you respect. A brand-named outfit might get you into a club, but your skills will get you into places where real opportunities exist. Look at the world's most successful people. Do you think they became wealthy by spending all their money on fashion? No. They invested in learning. They bought books before they bought luxury. They spent on experiences before they spent on expensive labels. They understood that while clothes can change how people see you, knowledge changes how you see the world. A man can wear the most expensive suit, but if he opens his mouth and speaks nonsense, no one will take him seriously. A woman can carry the most exclusive handbag, but if she cannot hold a meaningful conversation, that bag means nothing. It is not about how you dress. It is about how you think. Think about your phone. You upgrade it every year, making sure you had the latest model with the best features. But when was the last time you upgraded your mindset? When was the last time you invested in a book that challenged your thinking? When was the last time you paid for a course that could elevate your skills? If people treated their minds like they treat their phones, the sad truth is people are willing to go broke for fashion, but not for education. They will stand in long lines to buy the newest sneakers, but they won't sit in a room to learn something new. They will spend on temporary things, but hesitate when it comes to lifelong knowledge. Fashion fades, money can be lost, but no one can ever take away what you know. Knowledge is the one investment that always appreciates in value. It compounds over time, opening doors, creating opportunities, and setting you apart from the crowd. Success is not about looking rich. It's about being rich in wisdom, experience, and intelligence. The world is filled with people who wear success, but do not understand it. They look the part, but cannot play the role. Do not be one of them. Dress well, yes, but never let your wardrobe be richer than your... Failure is not the opposite of success. It is a part of success. Every great story, every legendary achievement, every powerful transformation begins with failure. Yet, most people fear it, run from it, and let it define them. But the truth is, failure is not your enemy. It is your greatest teacher. It is the fire that forges strength, the storm that clears the path, the challenge that builds resilience. Without failure, there is no growth. Without failure, there is no mastery. Think about a child learning to walk. They take a step, they fall. They try again, they fall. Over and over they fall. But do they stop? No. Because failure does not mean they are incapable. It means they are learning, and eventually, after enough falls, they walk. Then they run. Then they never look back. But somewhere along the way, as we grow older, we start seeing failure as something to be ashamed of, something to avoid. We stop trying new things, not because we lack ability, but because we fear looking foolish. But tell me this, how can you ever become great if you're too afraid to start? Every successful person you admire has failed more times than you can imagine. Steve Jobs was fired from his own company before returning to make Apple a global empire. Oprah was told she was unfit for television. Walt Disney was once rejected for lacking creativity. Michael Jordan, one of the greatest basketball players of all time, was cut from his high school team. Did they let failure stop them? No. They understood that failure is not the end, it is the beginning of something greater. Failure tests you. It asks, how badly do you want it? It separates those who give up from those who get up. It forces you to reevaluate, to adjust, to improve. It is life's way of refining you, of making sure you are strong enough to handle the success that is coming. The question is not whether you will fail. You will. The question is, will you rise again? Imagine a chef trying to create the perfect dish. They mix ingredients, they experiment, they taste, and sometimes it turns out terrible. But do they stop cooking? No. They adjust the recipe, they try again, they learn what works and what doesn't. And through that process of trial and error, they create something incredible. Your life is no different. Every failure is just an ingredient, a necessary step in the process of creating your success. The problem is, most people fail once and decide that's it. They take rejection as a final verdict, not realizing it is just a test. How many dreams have died because someone failed once and assumed they weren't good enough? How many ideas were abandoned too soon because someone didn't see immediate success? If you quit after your first failure, you will never know what you were truly capable of. Look at Thomas Edison. He failed thousands of times before he invented the light bulb. Thousands. When asked how he felt about all those failures, he simply said, I have not failed. I've just found 10,000 ways that won't work. That is the mindset of a winner. That is the perspective of someone who understands that failure is not a roadblock. It is a stepping stone. There is no shame in failing. The only shame is in not learning from it. If you lose a job, figure out what you can improve. If a relationship ends, understand what it taught you. If your business idea doesn't work, analyze why and try again. Failure is a lesson, not a label. It does not define you, it refines you. The strongest people are not the ones who never fail, they are the ones who fail and keep going. They understand that each setback is just setting them up for a greater comeback. The question is, will you let failure break you or will you let it build you? The fastest way to master something is to teach it. Knowledge is not just about what you absorb, it is about what you can share, what you can articulate, what you can pass on to others. You may think you understand something, but until you explain it to someone else, until you break it down and make it simple, you have only scratched the surface. Teaching forces you to organize your thoughts, clarify your understanding, and look at things from different angles. It transforms information into wisdom, and wisdom is what stays with you for life. Think about when you first learned to ride a bicycle. At first it felt impossible. You wobbled, you fell, you doubted yourself, but eventually after enough practice, it clicked. Years later, if someone handed you a bike, you could ride it instantly. But could you teach someone else? Could you explain where to balance your weight, how to shift momentum, what to do if you start to fall? Teaching requires you to understand something at a much deeper level than just doing it. The same applies to every skill, every subject, every lesson in life. The moment you teach something, it becomes a part of you. It is no longer just information in your mind. It becomes a tool in your hands, a belief in your heart, a reality in your actions. That is why the greatest experts are also the greatest teachers. They do not just practice, they pass it on. They do not just accumulate knowledge. They refine it, simplify it, and make it accessible to others. Think about the best leaders, the most influential people, the greatest mentors. They are not just great because of what they know, they are great because of what they teach. They take their knowledge and multiply it. They elevate others by sharing what they have learned. They create impact not just through their own success, but by helping others succeed. Imagine you are learning a new language. You study, you practice, you listen, you repeat. But the moment you start teaching someone else, explaining the rules, correcting their pronunciation, helping them form sentences, you suddenly realize how much deeper your understanding becomes. You start to recognize patterns, notice details you had overlooked, and reinforce concepts in your own mind. Teaching locks in what you have learned and makes it unshakable. This applies not just to academic knowledge, but to life itself. If you have learned how to overcome fear, teach someone else. If you have figured out how to stay disciplined, share it. If you have discovered how to stay positive in tough times, help someone else do the same. The more you teach, the stronger your own belief becomes. The more you give, the more you get in return. There is a reason why some of the most successful people in the world prioritize mentorship. They understand that teaching is not just about helping others, it is about reinforcing their own mastery. A doctor who teaches students becomes a better doctor. A musician who trains others refines their own skills. A leader who guides a team sharpens their own vision. Teaching is the bridge between learning and mastery. It is the difference between knowing something temporarily and owning it permanently. When you explain something to someone else, you test your own understanding. You see the gaps in your knowledge, you refine your ideas, and you strengthen your ability to apply what you know in real life. Many people hesitate to teach because they think they are not expert enough. But you do not have to be the best. You just need to be a step ahead. A first grader can still teach a kindergarten student. A beginner in fitness can still help someone who has never worked out before. You do not need a title, a certification, or permission to share what you have learned. You just need the willingness to give. When you teach, you are not just helping others. You are strengthening yourself. You are turning knowledge into wisdom, experience into expertise. You are transforming information into something real, something practical, something that lasts beyond you. Knowledge that is kept to yourself fades over time. But knowledge that is shared multiplies, grows, and lives on forever. You were not born to remain the same. You were not placed on this earth to stay stagnant, to live the same year over and over again, to settle for a life that does not ignite a fire within you. You are here to evolve, to expand, to rise beyond limitations, because the world does not wait for anyone, and neither should you. Knowledge is power, but only if you use it. Education is not just about degrees, certificates, or books. It is about how you apply what you learn, how you challenge what you know, and how you become someone greater than you were yesterday. If you want to change your life, change what you consume. Feed your mind with wisdom, not with distractions.